People are going to have to make a decision. 36 years, there's no charge. All of a sudden, the hearings are over and the rumors start coming out. And then you have this other con artist, Avenatti, come out with another beauty today. I only say that you have to look at the facts. The senators are very capable people. They're very good people.
And the president said he will be watching the proceedings on television today. Judge Napolitano joins us right now. Judge, in the 11th hour, actually we're at 11:45, I would say, in the proceedings, all these accusations are out there. There have been 6 accusers. One is recanted. But have you ever seen anything like this before?
No, I think this this sort of beats the Anita Hill, Clarence Thomas episode in terms of the depth of the allegations and the ferocity of the opposition. When Anita Hill made her complaints, we're back in 1991, and they made their way to the White House. President George H.W. Bush said, stop the clock, let the FBI interrogate her and any witnesses she says to back her up. Let them interrogate Judge Thomas, then Judge Thomas, and any witnesses to back him up. They gave those reports to the White House and the Senate Judiciary Committee. Senator Arlen Specter on the Judiciary Committee used the FBI report to demolish her in cross-examination because she had said different things to the FBI than she said to the Senate. Now, we don't have the benefit of that here. We have various versions that Dr. Ford has given. Right. We also have no rules. So this is not a court of law. Dr. Ford does not have the obligation of proving her case by a preponderance of the evidence, and Judge Kavanaugh does not have the obligation, contrary, I would argue, to what Senator Coons told Martha McCallum last night. He does not have the obligation to prove his worthiness. It's a question of impression. At 5 o'clock this afternoon, when this is over, what is the general impression in the country? Is she more believable or is he more believable?
And knowing that others are queued up, perhaps, because now it looks like Ramirez, the #2 accuser, wants to testify, and who knows what's happening with Avenatti and that roadshow that he put together. But let me just ask you this. There is some rules, right? You get 5 minutes to question.
Yeah, there are procedural rules.
And I could give up my time and give it to this Arizona prosecutor, correct?
Correct.
And
well, if we were senators, you'd give your time to me.
Oh, absolutely.
No, he wouldn't.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I would just toss the break. That's all I would ask.
Yes, of course you can give your time to somebody else.
But, Judge, and the opening statements can be as long as they want, correct?
We've seen the opening statements.
So they're going to just read verbatim?
Yes. Hers is a bit of a tearjerker. His is, I would say, a small, more direct version of what he told Martha the other night, with a little bit of a, you know, I was imperfect. I was a good person, but I was imperfect like any teenager.
Judge, usually innocent until proven guilty. That's what the law says.
Yeah.
Senator Coons, you mentioned what he said last night to Martha. Here's a clip of what he said, that basically the judge has to prove that he was innocent. Also, this is also sound from another senator, Senator Gillibrand, who many say that she wants to run for president. Listen to these 2 Democratic senators.
His challenge is to persuade us that he has the judicial temperament and the integrity to serve on the Supreme Court. President Trump has other equally credentialed nominees who he could bring forward. Dr. Ford, I'll remind you, has nothing to gain from this and has already suffered significant harm to herself and her family. I think she's come forward with credible allegations, and I do think the challenge now is for us to be persuaded that Judge Kavanaugh has addressed them.
First of all, it's not due process. Again, that's a legal standard. This is just a hearing. I have learned, I have listened to, I have read, and I weigh that evidence with what Judge Kavanaugh has said throughout these hearings and what he said last night, and I believe the women. No, whatever he says tomorrow, it will not change my view.
She believes
the women. I mean, that is preposterous. Whatever he says tomorrow will not change my view. I mean, this is telling us that if you want Judge Kavanaugh to be confirmed, you're going to agree with him no matter what Dr. Ford says. If you don't want him confirmed, you're going to agree with him no matter what he says.
But Judge, what about the premise that Chris Coons put forward?
That is not the law. But
am I right to say that is he right when he says, well, it's not a court of law, and that's why I feel the way I do?
He's right to say it's not a court of law, but it is not the burden for Brett Kavanaugh to prove anything. The case has already been made for Brett Kavanaugh with respect to his qualifications, his experience, and his intellect. I watched him being grilled on the Constitution. He has a top-of-the-line, A-plus, 2.0 command of constitutional jurisprudence, which rivals Justice Scalia at that point in Justice Scalia's career. The test that he held back an aspect of his youth and is now lying about it. That's their case. That case has to be made. It has not been made under oath.
Sure, and the Republicans will have this this sex crimes prosecutor, the woman Rachel Mitchell. She's going to be doing their questioning. If you had to forecast how she will approach that,
I think she'll be aggressive but respectful. What Arlen Specter did to Anita Hill could not be done today. Court, but at what cost?
Do you bring? Does the second accuser, third accuser, all these incidents? Do they come up?
Yes.
Are they going to come up today?
They can be asked about. Whether they testify is up to Jeff Flake, because if Chuck Grassley says no and the Democrats say yes and Flake votes with the Democrats, no, I'm talking about on the committee, then Grassley's overruled and the others will testify. I don't think they're going to testify, but they're going to be asked about.
Steve, when the judge sits next to you, does he grab his arm your arm as much as me?
Absolutely, all the time.
He keeps grabbing it. Okay.
So we'll all be watching. The coverage starts today at 9 o'clock here on Fox News Channel. We will have Kellyanne Conway with us to talk to her about some of these questions within the hour.
Hey, did Jillian sneak out here while I was...